Hey everybody, welcome to the Rarible DAO, Rarible Protocol community call on July 22nd, 2021. We have a pretty light agenda for the week. I'll share my screen. Maybe I don't need to. So main updates that we're going to do today. So just talking about some of the big things that we've been doing this week, namely some of the proposals that have been passed or that are in the pipeline to be passed. I think they're going to be kicking off a lot of really interesting changes. There's going to be an update from Mark on the values and move forward that we've been doing the workshop every Monday. And then we're going to have a project update from Mintgate, who launched on mainnet this week. And then, yeah, we're going to just jump into a little bit discussions around app mining on the protocol and also the working group proposal. And we're just going to talk a little bit about those and see if we can bring up any interesting discussion. So just to start off with, we have four proposals in Snapshot. So I'll share my screen. So we have the working group proposal to create a working group with its own funding. So this working group, the proposal is for 50K equivalent to a working group. That working group is going to have its own members and its own decision-making power on how it wants to spend those funds. So it'll give us a little bit more autonomy, and it'll be, a really interesting experiment. So looking forward to kind of talking about that some more later in this call. We have.
Can you drop a link as you go through these, just so I can? I guess I could manually follow through Snapshot, but just for archival purposes.
Yeah, cool. So here. There. Follow. So the second proposal is the app mining proposal, and this is actually a pretty big shift. So for all of the Rari's history, the token, Rari has been distributed to buyers and sellers on Rarible.com platform. And so what we're shifting is that instead of going to Rarible.com buyers and sellers, it's going to be going to all the applications building on the protocol, proportional to the fees or the volumes that they generate. So it's going to be super interesting. Right now we have the breakdown is 75% to buyers and sellers on the platform and 25% to the DAO. That's the current breakdown. And this proposal would shift it 10% to stakers, which we don't have that functionality yet, but 35% to the DAO, 55% to the applications. So it's a pretty big shift compared to what we currently have. That's also passing. Nobody has opposed it yet, so I'd expect this would pass. But super interesting development, and I hope that we're going to keep experimenting in this direction to have incentives for builders. So I think it's going to be very interesting to fuel the ecosystem.
And that's the 25th when that needs to be voted upon.
Yeah.
Right. What's the date now?
End date on the 25th.
Okay. Yeah. I need to get more active on voting on proposals. Yeah.
We also have two other proposals, one by Cyber, which is a really cool platform. If you haven't seen it, it's the platform, and you can explore these metaverse destinations really easily with a click of a button. I'll just give a quick display of what this is. I think Ryan gave a demo of this the other day, but yeah, this is kind of what we're looking at here for this proposal. They're looking to integrate on the protocol. And then Footium is the other proposal. They're building an NFT game. So really a lot of activity this week on the proposal front. I've been kind of kicking this can down the road on submitting these, but I'm really glad that this ball is rolling. So
I was just gonna say, just to pitch in really quickly, the On Cyber platform, a lot of people I'm seeing using that and using it to show off their NFTs. It seems to be gathering a bit of momentum out there.
yeah, definitely. All right, so that's that for updates on my end on the proposals. Next, Mark, do you want to jump into the updates we've been doing and conversations we've been having in the vision working group?
Sure. Okay, let me share my screen. Oop. Okay, now I can share my screen. All right. So last Monday was the last session of the series Mission, Vision, and Values workshop. For session 3, the last one, we focused on values. And what is values? We defined it as values as our important principles, our beliefs, our ways of behaving. They represent how the organization moves through and interacts with the world. Members of our DAO are expected to embody these values. It's how we behave and interact with each other and the world. And this is what we look like when we are working at our very best. So we started with definitions, and then we jumped into our inspiration board. And in here, are a few projects within crypto, outside of crypto, that inspire us or that their values resonated with us. So just to shout out a few, this is I think this is the mission of Zora. We have Gitcoin, we got Index Co-op, Xerox, Linux, Ghost, Mac, or Apple rather, Nike, Ready Player One. I think Eric posted this one and sort of like an inspiration for the metaverse that we're building. Einstein, Uniswap, Tesla, Zappos, familiar names with leading with values. And so from that, we invited the participants, the community, to share, using these stickies, to what are their values, what values are important to them, what values do you think Wearable DAO should have? And so, it was a bunch of stickies. It was all sort of not organized like this. And then, after the we have allotted like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes for people to just spit out all these values. And then from there, we organized it, and as you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 buckets. So, and these are stickies that are similar to each other, and we group them as, empowerment, creativity, collaboration, transparency, a learning mindset. And this bucket is like more about like people and social and community. And then the last one would be like rootedness and groundedness. And from there, I think this is offline. Max and I and Eric sort of like started to consolidate them further and distilling them. And so we created this sort of Venn diagram inspired by how Index Co-op sort of like groups their values, right? It's like from personal to community to outside. And so we split that into 3. And of course, there are values that sort of overlap each other. And then from there, we have this draft, which I will read to you. And of course, we will post about this too on our forums and Discord. And based on the values that is shared by community, it seemed like integrity is our main core value. And then for the personal side, it's having a learning mindset, being bold, being open, i.e., being welcoming, accepting, and being supportive, fun, and then honesty. And then on the community side, we encourage collaboration. We empower our community. We are supportive of our community members. We are inclusive. We are accepting of all backgrounds, disciplines, and cultures. We value people. And then business, and this is mostly talking about like the protocol side, the app side, our products, essentially our external face, facing the world. We build exciting products. We are efficient with our resources. We encourage innovation and risk taking. We create value, and we are future oriented, and we are long term thinkers. So this is a draft, and it's continuously being iterated on, which we will share in the coming days. And also, we're looking to sort of like consolidate a final document that would sort of outline our vision, our mission, and our values. So please be on the lookout for that, and we would love your inputs and advice and feedback. Thanks.
Amazing. Any thoughts or comments, questions? Cool. Thanks a lot, Mark. Yeah, it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed those sessions. All right, so up next, we got Mintgate giving a project update. So, Louis or Jonathan?
Yeah, sure thing. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I got a lot of windows open. All right. So yeah, we launched on mainnet just yesterday, and our launch includes the version 1 of integration with Rarible. So that includes lazy minting and purchasing behavior for anyone who didn't, for anyone who isn't the creator of that token, and also gating with the lazy minted token that is functional after purchase for anyone who buys the token. And later versions will include staking and other features as well, but this is the first go-to of that. So just to kind of quickly walk through, I can go ahead and create an NFT access pass, choose an image of whatever I want. So inspiration. And then set the number of tokens I want to be available. Then create the NFT. And at that point, it's essentially saving the metadata for us. Then at the second stage is when you create the actual sale order. So you can connect your wallet and choose whichever one you want. Set a price, set the royalties. At this point, you're creating the lazy mint.
You can't see it here, but MetaMask is prompting to sign for the transactions.
Thank you. Yeah. MetaMask is asking to sign for like lazy minting, and right now signing to create the order. Thanks, Jonathan. And then the third step is when you gate any link you want. YouTube links are fully functional, but we have support for multiple different web links, as well as event and QR codes for live events.
And for those who don't know Mintgate very well, we're not just hiding the link. What's important with our platform is we are actually acting as a decentralized CDN that is holding private access to the video content. So if you put in like a private YouTube video, we actually take that video, we encrypt it onto IPFS, and then we actually serve it out through our secure proxy to the end user, unencrypting it. So like this is more than just link hiding that you would see, that you would get through just if you were using the Rarible marketplace. We're actually doing fully secure content serving. And this also works for whole websites. So you can like you could host an entire blog that's token protected, and users can't reshare that access to the blog because they actually need to hold the token in order to stream the content from the server to gain access to that content. Yeah.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then if you're the creator, then at this point you can view the NFT on Rarible. And then you have more functionality to be able to cancel the sale and see more of the history on what's going on here, as well as the details of the NFT. And then for the token gated link, because I'm the creator and I've already logged in, it will always allow me to access this link through Mintgate, because it already recognizes me as the creator, which is associated with your actual your MetaMask, your account. But then if I were to log out,
Yeah, just another way of saying that is that as a creator, you can create a gated link, and you're able to, even though you don't own the token because you're just listing the token for sale through the lazy minting, you can still check out your token protected links because the server also authenticates you by your Twitter handle, allowing the creator to visit their own links, even if they don't have the token to visit.
so if I log in with a different wallet here, so a different wallet login will then show the buy NFT option. At which point you probably can't see the MetaMask pop up, but it comes up the transaction, and I'm not gonna buy it because gas costs are high. So this thing's like $2, but it's charging me like 56 right now.
Does Mintgate have a royalty split in the smart contract level?
Yeah, so we allow the creator to choose royalties for 10, 20, 30%, but we automatically input a 2.5% royalty for the NFTs created and sold.
Awesome.
And that's pretty much everything. I guess if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer. So thank you.
So are you doing the encryption via SSL, or sorry, the decryption on your gateway? Is it SSL? Is it decrypting the transaction on the way out? You don't have like an F5 or a security layer basically that serves it up in the clear from the encrypted storage on the blockchain. Just curious how that works.
So we haven't specified in detail how it works because we're constantly evolving how it works.
Yeah.
But presently, everything is through SSL content serving. Access to data requires a session. We store a encrypted session on the user side. That's even if you were going to request access to streaming video. If you're watching a video movie, the connection to the end server endpoint requires that session cookie in order to create that secure connection between your browser and the server endpoint.
Yeah.
Our server endpoint is effectively then serving content that's encrypted onto IPFS. So from the user standpoint, the content is fully encrypted and the location is fully masked on even where that content sits on IPFS. So there's kind of like this dual layer of security right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be further improving that system in a novel new way, which I can't talk about just yet.
No. Yeah, I just wondered about cookie stealing, but I see someone's put a link in there. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great stuff. Yeah, really looking forward to use cases using this. I think there's a ton of opportunity.
The big idea here is ultimately someone could produce a movie and sell tickets to watch this movie, like Netflix, right? They could actually sell tickets to watch this movie, and the content creators don't have to worry about people being able to reshare out this movie access. This is a high piece of quality content that only requires NFTs in order to actually access this token. And then viewers that enjoy the movie and then want their friends to experience it can turn around and then resell and reshill their access tokens to then go and watch the movie. And as the creator, I get royalties as my fans resell my
Oh.
tickets to watch the movie. So that's the big idea that we're building towards.
So that's a really unique idea. I don't think anyone's done that before.
Well, we're doing it.
Yeah, apart from you guys, of course.
That's
yeah.
why we have Mintgate, right?
Beautiful.
I have a
Love it.
question, Jonathan. So we also want to use this for the NFP. We have a meeting once. So right now you allow for the lazy minted NFTs to have this content gated. But what happens when the token becomes on chain? So when it's lazy minted and then after it becomes on chain, how do you handle that? Do you detect that change or that the token ID is minted and then you also create a link for that on Mintgate or?
That's right. Your intuition is correct.
Okay, nice. Just to know because yeah, I'm going to use this. I want to to know. Thanks. Really nice progress, guys. Really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, great progress. We're actually already using Mintgate for another project I'm involved with,
Beautiful.
and it's working great.
So yeah, you guys are gonna be hopefully getting some rarity rewards as adoption cases. So I'm super excited about that. I mean,
Wonderful.
on my end, some thoughts are one, who in the Ethereum community can you use for these video contents? I mean, there's a bunch of like crypto media outlets that are starting to do videos and stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool to see that sort of content gated because they're already targeting the Web3 market. So I think it's a no-brainer. And yeah, two, I mean, the other thought that comes to mind, every single time we have a project talking, demoing, there's other projects in the ecosystem going, oh yeah, we want to work together, we want to do this. I mean, there's incredible network effects that we're already seeing in the ecosystem. And I really hope we can get, I think like we're still very, very new. But I think in a month or two, we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna have, 5, 6 projects of really high quality on the protocol. And then, it's gonna be everyone's job to get more projects on, really, because as new projects come on and there's cross collaboration, there's new features, there's like really interesting integrations that start happening. So
And the royalty system is, I think, is the most important part of all this.
Yeah.
Like, quite honestly, like brass tacks at the end of the day, being able to have this royalty system baked into the protocol and being able to have token resales all adhere to the royalty system, I think really helps bind all of these partnerships together, right? It's such a powerful concept, I think, built into the Rarible protocol.
yeah.
That's why I'm
Yeah,
bullish on it.
Yeah.
Actually,
So, yeah.
even like the VR experience, I think would be really cool to be like, how could we have a Mintgate movie, that then gets brought into, a partner's VR gallery and is able to play there. That would be cool.
Right. Mitigating the cyber 3D environments. Well, I mean, I don't know. What lots of interesting potential. All right, I'm not sure if Alex is around. Alex, you here?
Yep.
Cool.
Hey,
I
Alex.
was just wondering to give you some time if there's any product updates or anything like that.
Yep, I have a couple of those. So on the marketplace side, not much is happening. We are integrating CDN system to be able to resize and do all sorts of things that we want to do with images. And that can be helpful to anyone building on top of protocol. You can use our so far private API on the marketplace that returns you the preview, the mid size and the large size of a picture for an item. Also, it converts video to images. For example, if you have only MP4 in the metadata and you want to have an image, which is the preview, you can also use that link. You can hack around on the marketplace API. It might become a part of protocol API at some point. So that's cool. And we're continuing the last push to integrate this conversion system that would allow to buy with a credit card. I spoken about that before. On the protocol side, we've got more interesting things. So one of the requests from the community was to return metadata with items. When you query the protocol for items, we added the metadata parameter that is nullable, and basically it's not yet released, but it's done. It passed the review, the code review. So basically, when you will query items, you will get metadata as well, or you can not get metadata if you passed the metadata as null parameter. So that was one of the requests from the community. We also started to create an SDK for the protocol, the JavaScript SDK that should simplify all sorts of difficult things that are happening. So to create items, to send transactions, to make orders, and all sorts of things like that. So also, what else is here? We've started several interesting things. Okay, on the small side, we fixed the lazy minted items not paying out royalties on the first sale. So there was an issue like that. It will be on every sale, the royalties on every sale, including the lazy mint purchase, the first one. Not yet released again, but basically done. We'll review and do it. We've also finished the staking contract, and it passed the review. So as soon as we are ready to create the UI, we might all have staking. I don't know how many token holders are here, if you're happy or not. Yep. And
which also means we could be potentially distributing stake tokens to projects and users as another type of incentive, which could be good for long-term alignment. So something to be discussed.
Yep. Also, some of the projects are distributing supplier streams to the projects as grants. We can do that as well. That might be an interesting idea. Yep. And we started several new interesting initiatives. So we started developing token factory for contracts. So you can deploy a contract that supports lazy minting, your own collection, not for $500, but for $100. So it's a token factory, the same that happens with Gnosis Safe when you deploy a copy of the contract to not redeploy the whole contract code. We started to develop meta transactions for all the protocol, so it can be easily deployed to any other EVM chain, because you won't need to, if you deploy it to Polygon, you need to pay fees in Polygon, and if you have meta transactions, you can pay fees for all your users because they are cheap, and not to bother your users with need to have native token for Polygon, for example. Yep, so that's one step to deploy on EVM chains. And also we started researching how can we make the orders to live on chain alongside with the funds that needs to be used to fulfill that order. For example, if you want to make a bid for an item and you have ETH, right now what happens, you need to convert it to WETH and bid, approve WETH and bid in WETH. And what we want to do is that you can like send this ETH on chain, put the order on chain as well, and won't need to convert to WETH. So something like binding on-chain orders, we can build on-chain auctions on top of that system further, and all sorts of things like that. That would be it on updates from my side.
Is there, maybe I'm putting it on the spot here, but is there some sort of roadmap or like the next 6 months, what we're imagining? You know, like I'm imagining like Polygon, so many things. A lot of teams in the ecosystem might want some sort of like high level what we're imagining. Any thoughts on that?
Yep. We don't have a public roadmap, but basically our strategy is to be multi-chain. So yeah, deploying on other chains, indexing other marketplaces, tokens and contracts, so that it works as aggregator protocol in the same time. So like you try to you query indexer for orders, and it returns orders for super rare, for example, the items that are listed on super rare, or any other like marketplace. I don't want to name names. I don't know.
Can I ask
So
a quick
yep.
question just on marketplaces? Just, you don't tell me that like if this is something that's hard written down, but is there any thoughts or feelings about supporting tokens on minting tokens onto Near eventually someday?
Oh yeah, we've spoken to Near several times, and I think EVM compatible chains are coming first. And Near has the EVM compatible contract, so you can deploy EVM contracts, Solidity contracts on Near. So that might work, although it kind of will lose interoperability, because it works like this. There is Near. Inside Near, there's EVM contract, and inside this EVM contract, you have Solidity contracts. So you'll be able to interact only with NFTs from other Solidity contracts that deployed on Near. Kind of limits the possibility, because if you want to deploy NFTs on Near, you need to write all the smart contracts in Rust from like ground up, and that's costly. In terms of supporting the whole Near, I would say the priority I don't know, might not even fit into 1 year. Also,
Okay,
there
thank
was,
you. That's fine. I was just checking to see what the gut check on that was.
yeah. You also need to fund your Near account in order to start using it, which seems to be a little bit weird.
It's a strange chain. It's novel and interesting in many ways, but it's definitely a strange chain. Yeah, Polygon support I think would be the nice to have for us. A lot of NFT trading happens on Polygon.
Yep, that's really close in the priority. So we're definitely crunching things one after another. We speed up our indexer so that we can handle this 1 second block on Polygon, and then adding meta transactions. And soon we'll be able to support just querying NFTs from Polygon. And then the latest point is to merge together the NFTs. You query all the NFTs from Ethereum and Polygon at the same time. This is the latest thing to come.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Alex. All right, the two last discussions are around the app mining and the working group. So first off, there's a few teams here that are building on the protocol. And we mentioned briefly in the Discord, or I asked briefly in this Discord around what are your thoughts around receiving lock tokens versus unlocked tokens? So I'd love to hear, and even other people on the call who might receive payment, like, you know, I'm receiving payment, maybe Mark, if you get a proposal passed for payment, you know, what people's thoughts are around getting locked tokens versus liquid tokens. And, you know, is it something like you'd imagine you would use as working capital in the case for you, Mintgate, or, you know, is it something you would hold on to? Yeah, I'm just trying to get some feel of that so that we can maybe propose something moving forward.
That's a really hard question, and honestly, I'm not quite sure what to give guidance on there. I mean, at one hand, you know, as a partner, having unlocked tokens gives us the flexibility that in case of some hardship, that we are able to use those tokens to help get us by. On the other hand, I see a very valid point in having the tokens locked in order to help prevent you know, price fluctuations and encourage long-term growth. I think like you could split it you know, your suggestion is like you could like have some sort of split between liquid and locked tokens. But then I wonder that like, is this introducing complexity for up? I mean, I guess you tell me, like, is there a problem today with the tokens being liquid? Like, have we noticed any behavior today that warrants moving towards locked tokens?
Well, I'd say the vast majority of people who receive tokens, like Rarible tokens on a weekly basis, 5,000 souls right now, the vast majority just sell them. And so, you know, in my mind, I think that the reason why distributing locked tokens might make sense is that you're ensuring that they don't sell, at least for a certain period of time. You know, so you're creating a more long-term thinking mentality. But in a situation like, you know, like myself, for example, you know, my salary, like I wouldn't want that to be locked because I need to pay my living expenses and, you know, it needs to be liquid. So maybe it's a case by case. I don't know.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think having the option, like kind of mentioned in the Discord, is like really useful because exactly what you said. In case by case, there's some instances where like you need the Rary now, but it's also valuable for the ecosystem if you can lock these tokens. And for, you know, if there was an incentive to lock the tokens, like you get a larger amount and you're able to wait, then that actually, you know, kind of leans towards like, I'll wait a little bit longer to lock them as opposed to receiving less right now. But the less could still be enough for you to like, you know, pay wages and such.
Yeah, it
That
could even be interesting, you know, whether that incentive is eventually staking them back into the ecosystem and whether that's a, you know, you're receiving a larger token amount, or whatever the case is for participating in the ecosystem. That could be interesting too, just to try to get people, I guess, ingrained in the ecosystem rather than just, you know, selling and moving on.
Yeah, like, I mean, in some ways, like if it comes down to like a matter of trust and how deeply connected you are into the ecosystem, like, you know, taking a step back, if there's a partner entering into the Rarible ecosystem where, you know, their entire startup revolves around using the Rarible protocol, like they are, that's how they mint, this is how their product operates, then like I'm not so concerned whether the token is locked or unlocked because they are building long term on the protocol versus perhaps another partner who are just adding Rarible minting as like one option of many in their platform. This providing them lock tokens provides them a stronger incentive to keep active and kind of pull them more into the Rarible community. So I think like if we're talking really strategically, it's going to be coming down to like a case by case basis.
There's also the benefit of like for projects building on the protocol having the option to pass these rewards onto their users, in which case it would be more beneficial, I think, if those are liquid tokens than staked tokens. And then for the project itself, staked tokens would probably make more sense, or locked tokens, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it feels like it's really case by case. That's what I'm hearing.
That's actually something that I would like to explore and talk to you, Eric, about is like how can we pass on our tokens onto our end users to help, you know, spur our own growth through the Rary system.
That might be part of proposal. So if you're requesting tokens that you don't need right on, you can say that I'm requesting the stake tokens and that proposal have more chances to pass, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah, super interesting. I think we need to think about just designing a system that's pretty flexible, and potentially, you know, gives higher rewards for long-term thinking. And you know, we can see what we come up with. But yeah, I tend to agree with all the comments. So thanks, guys. All right, second topic, the working group. So we have a proposal up right now oh, that's not what I wanted to paste. Let's see. Could have been way worse than that. All right, so let's see. This is a Google Sheet for the working group. So anybody who wants to be part of this working group, you put your name. I don't think there's going to be any like, no, nobody, you're not allowed in. I think we want to keep a certain size of the working group. So we do want to make sure that it's people who have been attending the calls, who have been participating in the community, who actually want to take a more active role. And what we're going to try to do, I mean, it's kind of going to be a messy exercise, but we're going to try to just roughly allocate voting power based on how much people have contributed, just very roughly. And that can always be changed over time through the working group. But that's the exercise there. So if you want to be added, feel free to add your name and your Ethereum address. And hopefully this will be the start of just creating working groups as part of the DAO. So hopefully we're going to have a developer working group in the near future, and they'll be able to act a little bit independently, reward themselves for work they've done, for helping projects, things like that. We're going to have a marketing, but this is kind of the starting point. It's just one working group and experimenting with this concept and taking it from there. So I just wanted to point that out and answer any questions or have any discussions if anyone has comments.
And maybe to add additional context to that, the working group currently are composed of people from communications, in charge of like the socials and the marketing, the newsletters, all that stuff. And then the other side of the working group is also operations, the people who are involved with like, say posting proposals, guiding proposal making, just the day-to-day activities of the DAO. It's still very early. I think, we're still sort of like, there's a lot of things that need to be built, as structurally, organizationally, but I think this is an attempt to actually, retain and incentivize people to really contribute, as much as they can in building the rails of the DAO.
There's still a question in my mind around if someone wants to get paid by the DAO, are they going to get paid by the working group or the DAO first? I don't have an answer to that. I think I'm thinking maybe in the end, like if we think of a DAO with multiple working groups and specializations, I do think it makes sense that the payments come out of the working groups as opposed to the main DAO. So we'll have to experiment with that, but I think we can test a few things. But yeah, very much an experiment, and hopefully you'll all participate in it. And if it's a successful experiment, I expect follow-on funding. And if we can't manage the treasury and it's kind of a waste to experiment, then we can try something else. But that's kind of the beauty of this space, is a lot of these things are new. So
I think autonomy and accountability is a good idea, especially with the working groups being very, very close to those that are adding that value and proof of work, and that also, is less on you, Eric.
I think additionally, I think for ease also, if you are interested in contributing, on our Discord, there's a channel called Looking to Contribute, and you could signal your interest there. You could say, your skills, what type of contribution you're looking to do, and that's just like, it's easy for us to sort of like track people who are interested, and then reaching out to them. It's like, okay, do you want to do this, sort of thing. So it's still very much like a person-to-person sort of like configuration at this point, but we're hoping to someday decentralize this process.
Maybe we should just call the working group Eric DAO, because then decisions
Okay.
gets boiled up to Eric. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Eric tokens.
No.
The only problem with that is you have to be named Eric to join.
Yeah. Always rename yourself if you want. All right, guys. I think that's everything. We'll end a bit early. We can enjoy our summer a little bit, stretch, get a drink, whatever you need to. But thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. And we'll see each other soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace.